Oh, Hare Krishna. What's
Uh,
the name of your deity, Prabhuji?
this is Radha Madan Mohan ji.
राधा मदन मोहन भगवान की
Yeah.
जय.
जय
So
जय
Radha Binod Bihari, Radha Madan
Radha,
Mohan, huh?
yes, Prabhuji, just brothers actually. Vinod
ब्रदर
is a senior. He's Radha Madan Mohan is junior.
Oh, so all of this is being recorded and it's going on the YouTube. There
Oh,
are people in India, they watch my classes.
oh,
So I think you are going to be, your deities are going to be seen by them. Hope they'll do some comment.
Hare Krishna.
Wow, nice. So I'll just start and then, we can read the slide and we'll just go maybe for a few minutes. Thank you, Jyoti Mataji. Nice seeing you.
good seeing
So,
you too. Hare Krishna.
Haribol. So this is the verse we have. Verse number 2. And this verse is known as how to live. I deliberately gave this thing, the art of living. This verse will teach how to live. So last verse, Isavasyam Jagat Sarvam, we finished that verse. And then Om Purnamada Purnam Idam, that verse is also finished. Punat Purnamudachate, Purnasya Purnamadaya, Purnamevasisate. And then we did Isavasyam Idam Sarvam Yat Kincham Jagatam Jagat. And this is mantra 2 that we are going to do today. So Kurwan means karo. You should do. Kurwan evaha karmani. Jijiviset chatam samaha. Evam vai nan athayato asti. Na anya athato asti. Na karma lipyate nara. Beautiful verse. Kurwan iveha karmani. So this verse teaches how one should work. So if one works in this world as taught, Kurvan Yuveha Karmani, if one is doing activity as one is taught, one is taught, the verse number first is that one should understand that Supreme Lord is the owner of everything, is the proprietor, and everybody has a quota. So we should be happy with our quota and not be greedy for more than what we deserve. That was the mantra. So Kurvan eva aha karmani. If somebody is working like that, like what it was just taught, then even if one shatam shamaha jijivishet, jijivishet means to desire, to aspire. So even if one aspire to live for hundred of years, ivam tvai nanya athato asti. There is no harm. So if one live as per the advice that was given in previous verse, then evam tvai na anyathato asti, there is no harm. Or that's the only alternative, that's the only option that human being has for living his or her life. Na karma lipate nare. If one is acting like that, then he is not going to be bound by the law of karma. We all are bound by the law of karma. So this is art of living, right? What is art of living? Isavasamidam sarvam yat kincha jagatam jagat tena taktena unjitah ma gridha kasyasvid dhanam. Don't be greedy. for somebody else's wealth. Rather be satisfied with what you have. And with that attitude, if you live hundreds of the year, then one is not going to be bound by the karma. Living in the spirit of Isavasyam, which means work with detachment and avoid bondage. So we'll just see this verse has a long purport, but we'll just see some essential point that Prabhupada is trying to make in this verse. Everybody wants to live longer. No one wants to die. Everyone wants to live as long as he can drag on. So that is the tendency not visible only in the human being, but also in the animal. So this is a generic tendency that is seen in every living entity. So in that perspective, there is no difference. And then living entities are living life which are sinful. And if they are not aware that the way they are living is sinful, then it's none different than animal life. Because animals are doing sinful activity, but they are not aware. And then Prabhupada coins this term karma, akarma, and bikarma. One should definitely not engage in mundane activity. And then if we get little polished, then we talk about being vegetarian, or we take interest in doing the things for society, social uh, welfare. So that might sound that is little higher, but Prabhupada says in Bhagavad Gita also Prabhupada says that being vegetarian is not sufficient because there are so many animals that that are eating plants only. So what is the difference between you versus animal? So most of this comparison is done human versus animal. Prabhupada compares that these are the some of the polished tendency that we see in the mankind, in the people. It might them feel like that they are doing something higher, but ultimately it causes sheen. It's the cause of the sheen. So one has to be free from this sin collectivity. And not only that, but one should be engaged in devotional service of Supreme Personality of Godhead so that one can go back to home, back to Krishna. So no one wants to die and getting into Karam Bandhana. Who wants to die? No one wants to die. Prabhupada talks about that. And then also he talks about that if we are intelligent, then we should know what is action and what is not action, what is to be done and what is forgiven, what is to be forbidden, bikarma. And then Prabhupada talks about Gita Upanishad, which is cream of all Upanishad, and that teaches us about Nas karma. Nas karma means action that we are doing, which are not going to incur reactions. No one has to do anything more than devotional service. This whole concept of ism, my country, my nation, this ism, that ism, that has to be uh, given down, that has to be completely thrown out, because by that there is the greatest danger of gliding down into the lower form of life. So this life is very precious, and we have to understand that how to use this and how to use live a God centered life and execute those activities which are God conscious. Like all the devotees, we just saw their deity picture, their deities at their house, So although it might appear that they are living in one of the house on that street where there are so many people living. We have two guest priests of our temple here. And first thing they did is that, Prabhu, can I see your deity? They went and had darshan of the deity. So there are many houses on this street, but this is not house. This is a temple. It's appear to be one of the normal house, but it's not. Prabhupada said that wherever there is deity of Lord, it's Vaikuntha. So devotees, in fact, they are living in Vaikuntha. That's what it is. That's what exactly, it meant. So Prabhupada has given many paragraph in the purport talking about these points. So I would like somebody just to read. If you can do that, please. So that will be little slowly so that everybody can, like Karm Bandhana, liberation from the material bondage. Just read that and then I'll talk about that a little bit.
Okay. I will.
Living in the spirit of Ishwasya, Karma Bandhana, liberation from material bondage, living a God centered life, Karma Bandhana to Karma Yoga. Karma Bandhana, three types of action: Karma, Akarma, Vikarma. Karma, action prescribed by scriptures. Akarma, action that free one from bondage or cycle of birth and death. Vikarma, action performed by misusing one's freedom which direct one to the lower life.
Right. So the concept of Isavasam is that coming out from Karam Bandhana to liberated stage. How we can be liberated from the material bondage. And that's the that's the goal, right? In devotional service, we have rejected so much material obligations. Why? Because we have put Krishna. Krishna is center of our life. Okay. So when when we have Krishna in center of our life, then all the action around it is very, very liberating. And what principle applies? The principle that we apply is teaching that is presented by Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Devotion, the Anga of Bhakti. So how we can be free from the Karma Bandhana? By following the Anga of devotional service, the limbs of devotional service. So these actions that is given here, both karma, karma and vikarma, all these three in fact has have to be rejected. We have to, we are not interested in karma, you know, actions that are giving reactions, although it's prescribed, but we are not, reacted, not interested into that. Action that are not giving reactions, we are not interested in that also. And for sure, we are not interested in bikarma. Okay. None of these actions. We are interested in performing those actions which are devotional service. Okay. So Mataji or Prabhu, please just keep on reading this.
Yes, Prabhuji, I will.
Just some highlights, some key points from the purports.
Liberation from material bondage. Scriptures. Scriptures regulates work, Naishkarmya, in such a way that one gradually realizes the authority of the Supreme Being Krishna. It is the stage of positive knowledge in which the three material modes cannot act, and one is not bound to the cycle of birth and death. Work in devotion. Factually, no one has to do anything more than devotional service, bhakti, unto Lord Krishna. Only by performing actions related to the Lord can one avoid material bondage. Ignorant incurs sins. Even Jnani, who is free from sin, becomes sinful by not worshipping Krishna. Bhakti is defined as service to Krishna with an intention to please him, free from other desires and unobstructed by other processes. Can I continue, Prabhu? Conditioning. A conditioned soul cannot immediately take up bhakti activities and give up fruitive activities because he is accustomed to working for sense gratification, personal, socialism, communism, and nationalism, etc. These isms are very attractive forms of karma bandhana, but they can be made into karma yoga or God centered activities when executed in the spirit of Ishavasya or accepting the Lord's universal proprietorship. Even of finished God centered activities are also good because they will guarantee one chance to improve one's position on the path of liberation. Unfortunate people miss the spiritual opportunity in human life due to foolishness and defective senses. A long life is valuable only if one lives as a God centered life. There is no point in living like a tree for hundred of years or breathing like a pair of bellow or begetting children like hogs and dogs or eating like camels.
Nice, nice. I think it's very clear, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
It's very clear. So, which verse it's talking here? Even half finished. Can anybody recall the verse that is cited in
Neha,
Bhagavad Gita?
Neha Vikramo Nashto. Svalpam apyasya dharmasya. Like, I think
Good, yes. Exactly, that is the verse. 240. That's the verse cited here. Nehavi karmanaso asti pratyayana vidyate. Sulpamapi dharmasya trayatamata. So that's what it's saying here. That even if we do half bhakti, it's better than living a life that is that is full, that is filled sins and cynical activity. So when living entities are conditioned, right? What they do, these are their activity. They will do things for personal sense gratification. If they will grow, if little bit they will grow up, they will maybe think about society or community or the national. So these isms are very attractive. Prabhuji, just wait for a few more minutes, okay? I'm coming. धोती लेके आओ. Go inside and guess. So we're just finishing, Prabhu. Please just take 10 minutes. Wait, I'm coming back. So that's my Prabhu. So that's what basically it is. So is there any sharing that anybody has on this verse? Honor Prabhu?
Yeah, I mean, this quality I was reading yesterday, this in yoga, the first niyam, yam is the asteya. So this verse which we are talking about uh, is more than just asteya means not taking more than what is required, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so, uh, uh, but in the light of Krishna consciousness, when we think of it, that everything belongs, He's the Supreme Father. I'm, I'm,
Yeah.
I'm just part of it. So I should take my share. I should be also careful about other brothers and sisters around us. So, and what is their share? The God is giving. They are my brothers sisters. So. Um, all the living entities, even rabbits, insects, everything we should be careful about. So that becomes automatically this. I mean, I while reading this, I could connect the word concept of asteya with God consciousness together. Uh, it's linked, but although we can follow it as an individual principle, but it is well followed when it is the third verse, the second verse which we are reading actually connects it and say, okay, when we
Right, we have sufficient to fulfill the need of the people or need of
not
the
the,
living entity, but not the greed of one person, right?
yeah, that is
So,
true.
Prabhuji, one question can I ask quick?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, yeah, Asteya means what should I take? How much I take? Um, like whether it should be taking or should be given to. I taking is kind of greediness again. I'm feeling so. Is my understanding. Um, and again, what I should take, how much take. Also, if that is the take is a kind of word to be used. Then how much I should take? How I know about that? So there are two questions.
How
Whether
we know our need?
that's one, and whether it should be taken or it should be given. Taken versus given, kind of. God gives,
Prabhuji can.
yeah, or
So
I
we
should.
have our stomach capacity, and we have uh, we sleep only in a 8 feet of thing. So yeah, that's true. I mean, you see, if you see the modern India U.S. houses have increased in size so much. Um, People in the older generation, they were used to live more simply, uh, how much they needed, kind of thing. In India also, many people. So yeah, I mean, we know how much we need, but there is always greed factor is there. And also awareness of other people around you, I think. That's my 2 cents. Sorry, Prabhuji will say.
That's definitely right answer. We'll have to study Bhagavatam to understand that part. What is our need? It comes in second canto, uh, first or second chapter, where Sukadeva
Okay.
Goswami is
What do you say,
explaining to.
Shadbhuj Prabhu?
Can you hear me? Are you hearing me?
No, actually,
Or
Prabhuji,
anybody else?
I can hear you. Yeah, Prabhuji, we can
Yes,
hear you.
Prabhuji. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so we'll have to study Bhagavatam. I'll bring that up next class maybe to explain what are our
I think
needs.
Prabhu, Satyanand Prabhu. Uh,
Yes,
yeah.
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Can you hear me?
uh, Manohar Prabhuji, I think we can hear you from Prabhuji and you also. Maybe can you hear us?
Yes,
Yeah, I
Prabhuji.
can. Yeah.
Prabhuji is sharing, so.
So Satya Prabhu, your question was also my question earlier. You asked good question. How do we decide how much we need? I mean, it's a very relative term and subjective to time and place. So, but the idea is to live as simply as we can.
Great, Prabhuji.
The idea is main focus is on God consciousness also. So, using whatever we have for Krishna's service.
Yeah.
So, if we have more, then we can always use that in Krishna's service. Um, if God gives you more, but over endeavoring, as nectar of instruction also says, over endeavoring will also be not helpful. I mean, over endeavoring is detrimental to devotional service, nectar of instruction.
Gayatyahara prayasya prajalpanyamagrah.
That is a good question, Prabhu. And I also remember that verse, other verse also we learned. Anasaktasya Vishayan Yadarham Upayunjataha Nirbandhe Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagyam Uchyate. Right? So, well, we are not attached to the things, but actually say at the same time, when we use the things for the service of Krishna, then that is called Yukta Vairagya. Otherwise, if we are rejecting everything as false, then that is also called as Falgu Vairagya. That is one thing, one I come to my mind. And another one is also, Maharaj referred say this verse from Bhagavatam, because we're talking about the karma, akarma, vikarma. So this verse from Bhagavatam, akama sarva kamo va mokshagama udaratihi tivrena bhakti yogena vejate purusham param. So whether one has the full desires, akama sarvaka, if one doesn't have any desires, material desires, or one has the full of material desires, akama sarvakamova, mokshagama, if one desires the liberation, right, we don't want, doesn't want anything from this material world. In either case, all three cases, one should be rendering the service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The word is Thivrena Bhakti Yogena, with full intention. One should be rendering the devotional service to Krishna. Then that is the ultimate goal of the life. So those couple of things to come to my mind, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
What do you think, Prabhuji? Satya Prabhu.
No, Prabhuji, you said very rightly, Prabhuji. So, keeping Krishna at the center and whatever we have, there is nothing always more or less. It is, as you said, relative world also. It's always whatever we have. It's used for Krishna service. It is given by Krishna. As long as we are using for the Krishna, keeping in the Krishna at the center, I think rather than being greedy and looking for hankering for more and more, yes, if we get it more, let's use it in the service. But our desire should be Krishna consciousness as part of the devotional service. If we get more, we should serve more and keep getting more and keep serving more, rather than saying that, oh, I don't need anything. No, I feel it's my again personal interpretation. I would not say I don't need or I don't expect something. I yes, I need, but I need to get that need to serve to the Lord. Yeah, that's my interpretation, Prabhuji.
I heard everything. All good discussion, Prabhu. Wow. Nice. So what is our need, right? Our need is, मैं अभी भूखा ना रहूं साधु भूखा ना जाए. Have you heard about that?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So that's the need is. The need is that we have all the resources that we need to engage ourselves in devotional service. When Mahaprabhu gave instruction to his follower, this comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Mahaprabhu said that don't gossip, either listen or talk, both. Don't gossip, and also he said that don't dress in a very luxurious way, and chant name of Krishna. Don't talk unnecessary things. Don't talk too much. Talk what is needed. Because if you go back, everything is coming from Veda. Since we just finished that verse, Isavasam idam sarvam, and it has purpose. Purpose is that it should be used in devotional service of Supreme Lord. In fact, everything was meant for that. So when everything is meant for that, what does it mean? It means that Pujari is living into a temple and Pujari is using things that in the temple to serve Lord, and leftover is as a prasadam he is accepting. So that's the need we are talking about. A servant is living in a palace where king lives, but servant does not say that this is my palace. I'm the king of this palace. But he lives, he gets all the opulence, he's getting all the facility as king, but he is still servant, he's not the king. Making sense? Somebody say yes or no.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So he has all the resources, but those resources, what he is doing, what servant is doing with the resources that he has in the kingdom, in the king palace? Can
Serving
somebody
the
answer?
king. Serving the king.
Serving the king. But while he's serving, is he using those things or not? Like,
Yeah.
for example, he's living in the air conditioner where king lives, right? But
He's
but
using.
right, but he's getting the benefit of living into the air condition for the purpose of serving the king, right?
King. Yes, Prabhuji.
That's the perfect example of our need. What is our need? Our need is that is sufficient for us to engage in devotional service of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhakati Binoda Adi, Bhakati Binoda Adi, Dina Akinchana. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is writing in one of his prayer. It's called Tumi Sarve Saraswara Rajendra Kumar. In that prayer he writes, Bhakati Binodayati Dinaya Kinchan. He says Bhakti Binod is very poor with no possession. Kinchana means no possession. Tomare Kripaye Tare Jivana Marana. He says, my dear Lord, my living or my dying is on your blessings, on your mercy. He says that I am Deen and I am a Kinchan. So, who was Bhakti Binod Thakur? He was a magistrate. He was district magistrate, very learned person, one of the richest person at that time. But he is saying that Bhakati Binoda Ati Dina Kinchana. Bhakti Binod is Deen, very poor, a Kinchana with no possession. Now my question is back to you. What is the meaning of Deen and a Kinchan here? While Bhakti Binod has everything, all the richness, but he is saying that I am very Deen and a Kinchan. Can somebody explain why he is still Deen and a Kinchan although he has everything? What makes somebody Deen and a Kinchan with all that you have under your possession?
Because
Not
they
you.
don't want any material things. Looking
Because
for the
he,
Christmas. Yeah.
yes, little bit deeper, more than
Krishna Prema.
okay,
So
Krishna Prema.
Not using in Krishna service. Whatever we have, we are not using it for the service of Krishna.
Okay, little bit more. Things,
I'm not able to make happy to Krishna. So
things are under my possession, okay, but I don't be possessive. Is it making sense?
Mhm.
Is it making sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, everything
Yes.
belongs to you. Yeah.
So not thinking that these are my possession. Okay, that's akinchana. Not feeling that that I possess, because from there all the sinful activity starts. So I'm just trying to quote one verse from Sri Chaitanya Niti, Sri Chanakya Niti. This is a beautiful book. In this book says, Udyoga na asti daridrayam, japato na asti patakam, mone na kalho na asti jagrite bhayam. A man, a man who has belonging is not a poor man. Is that true or not? Is that true or not?
True. Yeah.
So, a man who does not have any belonging, not necessarily he is a poor man, right? Bhakti really does not require one to be rich or one to be poor. It's not like that if you are poor, then automatically you become a very advanced devotee. And if you are rich, then you can never become a devotee. That is not that is not the criteria. The criteria is that it doesn't matter where you are, not connecting oneself, not feeling that whatever I have is mine, under my possession. I am the benefactor of that. And that makes one a kinchana. That makes one a person who has everything, but still he doesn't feel the belongingness. So, what are our needs? Our needs are our needs are which are needed for us to serve Supreme Personality of Godhead, or anything else that bring some degree of possessiveness, that I hold it, it's mine, it's unwanted, it's greed. Okay, so this verse is telling us that if we leave Isavasamidham Sarvam, what does it mean? Mean leave for the pleasure of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is why we must have DT in our house. Must have the DT. And then DT is the real owner of the house. Who that house belong to, where you live? Who this house belong to, where I live? Not to me, not to my wife. This house belongs to the DT, the person, the main person who is residing in this house. And then cooking that is being done, all other cleaning, everything else that is being done, everything becomes spiritual because it's being done for the pleasure of that person. Okay. And if you give the priority to your deity, then you would know that in fact everything is being done for their pleasure. Okay. So that's the need. Sukdev Goswami says, what is the need of a bed if one can sleep on the floor? What is the need of a pillow if you can use your arm? So the point there is that one should not feel captured by these resources. I have this, I have this, I have, and then distracted, right? That is not what is needed. We have everything. Prabhupada said, one person came and asked Prabhupada, "Oh, what is the difference between you and a normal manager?" Because they are also after money and you're also after money. Prabhupada said that gulf course of difference, huge, huge difference. Why? Because they are collecting money for their sense gratification. I collect money to build temple. If I get money, I'll keep on buying temple, temple after temple, temple after temple. So my collecting of the money is not the greed. I'm not being greedy for my sense gratification. Rather, my collecting is to build temple of Krishna, serve Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's how, our needs are. Our need at this point is to serve and preach. Whatever is needed in our service, we do that. Whatever is needed for us to preach, we preach it. But one thing is for sure that if you are not prepared to take the pain, then trying or acting as a pure devotee can be very difficult. It can be very difficult for you to handle, because if the surrounding around you is not pure, then you'll be struggling. Your wording, your statement, the way you do things, the way you act would not make sense to many people. So then at some time you have to adjust. Uttmadhikari cannot preach. Why? Because Uttmadhikari sees everybody as a devotee. He sees that everybody is better than him, everybody is engaging in devotional service. But then, in order for you to preach, you have to discriminate. And whenever this discrimination comes, you come down to the stage of Madhyamadhikari. What Madhyamadhikari does? He worships Supreme Personality of Godhead. He respects who are senior. He has friendship with one who are of his caliber, and he avoid those who are envious of God. So this discrimination you have to do. So if you are doing that to survive, to preach, then you are coming down to Madhyamadhikari. But if you are ready to live your life as Uttmadhikari, then that's higher stage. So at Uttmadhikari stage, you may not need anything, but at Madhyamadhikari, you need. So this is another way to see the importance of need. Our needs are not because uh, we want it, but because we are in that stage, we are Grihastha. So Grihastha has to take care of wife, take care of sons and daughter, take care of social responsibility that you have. You cannot say that I'm devotee. I don't have to worry about it. I don't care about it. You cannot say that. One should not say that. Fulfill your social and family responsibility. But you should know that you have come down from Uttama stage to Madhyama stage to fulfill the social need. Ideally, you are Uttmadhikari. Am I making sense, or I'm just talking just some words? I want to make sure that I'm making sense. So needs are defined like that. Okay. If you are very Krishna conscious person, then you would know that what my need at this point is. Okay. How I should manage with my need. But at the same time, don't be greedy. And that is called in other language, what we are reading here in verse 1 and verse 2 is basically teaching us about a very technical term that's called Yukt Vairagya. Have you heard this word Yukt Vairagya?
Yes,
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Yes. So the very first stage is Vishaya Sangraha. And Vishaya Sangraha is just the ordinary karmic people. All they do is Sangraha. They'll just pull from everywhere for their sense gratification. We don't do that. I know all of you. You all have deity at your house. You worship deity. Every Saturday, Sunday, you are coming to Krishna Consciousness Temple. You are doing some service. You are part of some preaching program. You are a teacher. You are doing something. So we are not Visaya Sangraha. We are not doing Visaya Sangraha. For sure, be 100%. So don't think that your life is sinful. Sometimes devotees say, Prabhu, I'm living very sinful life. I've been in the Krishna consciousness for so many years. Nothing is working. I said, don't say that. You're not able to see what is working, what is not. Everything is working perfectly fine. And every day you are saying that if nothing is working is symptom of advancement of Krishna consciousness. So the point that I'm trying to make is that Vishaya Sangra person is just pulling, and that's what he does. We don't do that. None of you are doing that. I know you. So our needs are different than the need of the Vishaya Sangrahi. Okay. So if you have the possession, if you have a house, if you have wealth, don't think that you have become Vishaya Sangrahi. No, no, it's not like that, because sense gratification is not your topmost priority. Your topmost priority is to how to become pure devotee. There is a struggle. I always say that, the value system and Swabhav, those two things. Value system is that we are trying to be pure devotee. Swabhav is that I'm not able to make it. One of the thing that I'm trying to, Prabhupada has, this is very confidential, I'm telling all of my, you know, acharyas have very literally told me that I should break myself down. Tinnadapi Shunnichana Todya Sajusuna Amananiya Mandana Kirtaniya Sadhari. I'm working on that. How I to be that stage where I'm just breaking, fall. But there are some somehow conditioning years after years. That's not letting me do happen. But Acharya says that as long as your endeavor is pure, you are pure devotee. So all of you are pure devotee. According to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, you would be surprised to know that. But you all pure devotee. Do you believe that? You will say, no, Prabhu, please don't say that. I'm not a pure devotee. But the thing is that you are, because your endeavor is pure. So a pure devotee, what the need of the pure devotee is then, since you asked the question about it, all the needs are need that is needed for your pure devotion. Okay. So we are not Visaya Sangrahi. We are in the stage of Samanjasya. It's called dovetailing. Dovetailing is our most of the stage where we are trying to basically find out what is to be done, what is not to be done. We have a car because we work, we make money, and we donate it to the temple. We have a car because we are going to Hare Krishna temple. Samanjasya. Okay, not fully Yukt Vairagya, but Samanjasya. So Prabhuji, that is another type of need. So Visaya Sangraha is one type of need which we don't. Samanjasya, dovetailing is second type of need. Okay, and we are in the dovetailing stage. Okay, our life is dovetailing. We are dovetailing. Most of the things that we are trying to use, although there is some use for ourselves, but we are trying to use it for service of Krishna. And higher than that is Yukt Bharagya, where you have only those items which are used in the service of Krishna. So not everything in our house is for the service of Krishna. There are certain items that we have for our pleasure, but we try to utilize it for service of Krishna, like sofa. We have sofas. But what we do, sometimes devotee comes, we Prabhuji, please be seated. Please sit down. Okay, then it's being used for devotional service, right? So where we are somewhere between the Yukt Bharagya to Samanjasya stage. Yukt Bharagya is a stage where you have the only items which are needed for service of Krishna. Samanjasya is the stage where you are trying to adjust between your possession versus utility of that possession. Okay, so we are somewhere between these two, and our needs are around those two things. Okay, if you become advanced devotee, then your needs will change. As you grow in Krishna consciousness, your need will change. But I just wanted to tell you that all of the discussion is very pertinent to the topic that we have right now, because these two verses are basically teaching about Yukt Bharagya. Okay, that live a life which is God-centered life. And if you are living a God-centered life, then you are not really getting bad reactions of all the actions that you have in your life. Okay, was it sufficient for this discussion that we had in verse number 1 and 2? Did it give you some understanding?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So that's how we see our need. That's how we, yeah.
Right. So you quickly, you say, you mentioned three of things. Yukta Vairagya is very high stage, anasaktasya vishya. So that is the one. And next one is samanjasya, you said.
Dovetailing.
Dovetailing, that is where we are currently kind of, right? We are trying
The
to.
highest stage is spontaneous devotion.
Okay.
Svekshika, raga bhakti. Completely, raga, like, all six Goswamis
Yeah.
living beneath a tree. So there are four stages. How we interact with the material world in this in 4 ways, especially for devotee. In Visaya Sangraha, Samanjasya, dovetailing stage, Yukt Vairagya, and spontaneous devotion.
Oh.
Spontaneous. So unless and until you become pure devotee, completely renounce sannyasis type of devotee, they are in the fourth stage. Otherwise, girhastha, having the family responsibility, social responsibility, we are somewhere between Yukt Vairagya to dovetailing stage. Yes, Prabhuji, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that helps, Rosie. I'm trying to capture the three things you mentioned. Fourth one also. These are the four stages: Vishya Sangrahi, Samanjasya, Yukta Vairagya,
Samanjasya.
Samanjasya,
And
Yukta Vairagya, and spontaneous devotional service. That is the top one.
yeah.
That helps, Rosie.
So this is very also, applicable to, I wanted to talk about those four things for this particular concept that we are talking about. So anybody, any questions? Any other clarification that is needed? Ask.
Prabhu, as in this stage, as in the Grihastha, so just
Yeah.
what, maybe just I wanted to take just a line that whatever we are doing, whatever we wanted to use as part of the Krishna service, right,
Yeah.
Prabhu? That is the
Yeah.
middle stage where we are referring to.
Yes. Most of the things that we have in our life, we are trying to use in service of Krishna. Right. We are in that stage. Yeah. So we are mostly in a dovetailing stage. Second stage. Second stage, or maybe a little bit on the higher side, depending on how much advancement we have made. But we are not living completely Yukt Vairagya life also. Because if you live Yukt Vairagya life, then you only have those items which are needed for the service of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nothing beyond that. But that,
As a Grihastha, is that stage possible, Prabhu? Means,
yeah,
because you are saying the positions also, right? Because just to have only the necessary things and all.
yeah.
Because if you have the kids and all, so
Yeah,
uh,
so as a Grihastha, Mataji, it's also possible. Yes, it's possible, Mataji. For example, in the initial stage of your Grihastha, for example, take an example of yourself. You have kids, so you cannot say that, oh, I don't have responsibility for my son and daughter. Never say that. Be very, very responsible for them. Very responsible for them. And at that stage, their needs are your need, right?
yeah,
If they want food, you have to cook, right?
yes,
If they want, mom, I want ice cream, you have to go and buy the ice cream, right?
yeah.
So that stage, you have basically, in that stage, you have to adjust your life to meet their needs. But at some point, like for example, I have one son and one daughter. They're grown up now. My son is, out, daughter is out. So they're not asking me, Dad, I want ice cream. Dad, let's go buy this, right? So those needs are cut off, right?
It depends on the stage of the grihastha.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to exact. Thank you, Mata. Exactly. That's what I was trying. That's the point I was trying to make. That a stage of your life. Yes. So maybe you are dovetailing, but at some point, even in Grasta stage, you can live. That's why I was trying to say that no, Grasta can live Vairagya life. Depending on where you are, and that stage is in one way a stage of family life, grihastha life, and also in the other way, in the other language, it's or other way if you say that, it's a stage of advancement of your Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, then we're almost reaching to vanaprastha also, right, Prabhu?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
Got
that's
it.
what I wanted to refer as a
Yes.
grihastha versus the next stages, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly. So if you get into Vanprastha house, Vanprastha life, Vanprastha ashram, then you are living very much. Vanprastha life means living a Vairagya life.
hmm,
He completely got it. Right on the track. Yes. That's the meaning. That's the point I was trying to get to. Yes. And when you are sannyas, it's expected that you are completely at the very elevated stage. Again, we are or not, that is different thing, but it is expected that we are at that stage. Yes, good discussion. So that's what we'll do today. And third verse, we'll start next class, verse number 3. We have total 18 verses to go. So we'll just try to go after one after another verses, finish all this verse, and then we are done. Many of you will be finishing up this course. So thank you so much. We'll keep it here today and we'll resume next Saturday on same time. Today we had to adjust a little bit. Sorry for that adjustment, but appreciate that you all make it and came to the class. Can we adjourn here?
Thank you, Prabhuji, for taking time. It looks like you are busy today, but still you you made it today. Thank you.
No. I have to. Two devotee came at my house, and we were not expecting. So, kind of a little bit distracted. Sorry for that. I'm so sorry for that. वंशकल्पातरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, संबल भक्त वृंद की जय, यदि भांगे से प्रभुपाद की जय। धन्यवाद, प्रणाम, हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna.
हरे
Hare Krishna.